Over the last 20 years, comic book movies has been seen as the king of franchise movies. With Marvel leading the pack for so long and DC making a great comeback, I do feel like there were some other comic book movies that went under your radar. So these are 10 movies that you may not have known was a comic book. Starting with number 1, Red. Now, if you were paying attention during the opening credits, you could see that this is from DC and kind of figure out that this is a comic book. But going into this movie and when it was released, I don't believe a lot of people knew it was a comic book. Because I don't think anybody thought Bruce Willis, John Malkovich, Helen Mirren, Morgan Freeman, all to be characters from a comic book. And I think that movie rocks. I really do. I think it is a fun movie. Next one up is Kingsman. Again, I feel like over time this grew its attention to the comic books, but I think at the beginning, not a lot of people knew it was a comic book. While the movie did take its own creative liberty on telling the story just to better fit a narrative, I do like that he kind of still kept the heart of just the spy, and I just think it's overall a pretty good adaptation just of the concept. But it's certainly not a one-to-one. Do not get that confused. Number 3 is The Mask. 1994's The Mask with Jim Carrey is based off a comic book, which does make sense because Jim Carrey himself is a comic book character. I mean, just look at him, the way he moves. It's like he came off a page. But nonetheless, the absolute, like bits of The Mask where he's like pulling out the guns and it's like all the different kinds and it's just all this wacky things is very reminiscent of the comic book. So like I said, those ones over time did get the recognition of it being a comic book, so the remaining ones will actually surprise you. At number 4, Snowpiercer. The 2013 film starring Chris Evans is actually based on a comic book. The original French comic book under the name of Les Trente Personnages, which I think I just nailed the pronunciation, by the way. But yes, this movie is based off a comic book. The comic book series was written by Jacques Lob and illustrated by Jean-Marc Rochet, which I do hope I'm saying those names right. If not, I'm so very sorry. But when you compare the actual illustrations to the movie, you can see that it's pretty close to the damn thing. Bong Joon-ho is a really great director, so I'm sure he really did respect the source material. He's just really creative like that. But again, also like at the same time, he respect the source material and take his own creative liberties. Like he did with Mickey 17. The book is called Mickey 7. He added 10 more deaths. Here we are. It's also a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It truly might be Chris Evans' best movie. Next up is Men in Black. That's right, the Galaxy Defenders Men in Black is actually based on a comic book series. The first 3-issue comic series came out in 1990, while the movie did come out in 1997. It was created by writer Lowell Cunningham and artist Sandy Crothers, as well as published by Arsol Comics. And in 1991, there was another 3-issue series published by Malibu Comics, which was then later bought by Marvel. Then after Marvel bought Malibu and the movie had come out, Marvel then did release like one-shot comics based on the movie. But I had no idea about this. I love Men in Black. I love the ride at Universal, and I had no idea this was based on a comic book. Next up at number 6, Oblivion. Director of Oblivion, Joseph Kosinski, who later did Top Gun Maverick F1, originally pitched Oblivion as a comic book series. Now, much of the information about the comic book series is kind of lost. They really didn't publish this, even though it was bought. What originally was an idea between Kosinski and Radical Publishing was then later bought by Disney, or more accurately, they bought the rights, which then later Disney gave the rights to Universal, which then Kosinski pitched the movie version of the comic book to Universal, and this is what we got now. I think Joseph Kosinski could have really done a really cool idea of an Oblivion comic book. The movie itself is pretty creative, but I'm very curious to see what Joseph Kosinski had in mind, and unfortunately we'll never know. Next up, Old Boy. The movie that is absolutely insane is actually based on a manga that ranged from 1996 to 1998, which is still incredible. Having that jump from 1998 to the 2003 movie, it's seriously a crazy movie. If you haven't seen it, just prep yourself. It's wild. But that one actually blew my mind away from a comic book movie adaptation. I had zero clue that it was. At number 8, Road to Perdition. That's right, the action thriller starring Tom Hanks back in 2002 actually started all the way back in 1998. The comic book was released by DC Comics with writer Max Allan Collins and artist Richard Piers Rayner. This one I must have forgotten about because I remember watching Road to Perdition, but I don't remember ever seeing the DC title card. Granted, it's been like 15 years since I saw it, so there's a great chance, real strong chance I just forgot. But that's still kind of interesting. I had zero clue that this movie that I really do remember liking, just being based on a comic book. I gotta be watching now. At number 9, Two Guns. It was published by Boom Studios and was written by Stephen Grant and illustrated by Mateus Santoluco. I am so sorry if I'm saying that last name wrong. I don't ever recall ever watching Two Guns or ever even hearing that it was a comic book, so this one genuinely caught me way off guard. I would have never guessed. But originally the comic book came out in 2008 before the movie ever releasing in 2013. And last and certainly not least, Cowboys and Aliens. That's right, the Cowboys and Aliens movie from 2011 originally started as a comic book in 2006. The comic book was published by Platinum Studios and created by Scott Mitchell Rosenberg with writers Fred Van Lent and as well as Andrew Foley and pencilers Dennis Calero and Luciano Lima. I think I saw the Cowboys and Aliens movie once when I was a kid and I was like a dumb little kid. I'm like, yeah, That rocks. This one genuinely caught me off guard. I had no singular clue that this was based on a comic book. I mean, like the other ones, but this one especially. And I may have missed some other ones, so if there are some other comic book based movies that I have left out, be sure to let me know in the comments below. And that about wraps up this kind of, I guess, informational dump of a video. If you guys did enjoy, be sure to like and subscribe and check out past episodes we've been releasing. We got a ton out and a ton more on the way. And if you guys want more of our content, check out our podcast, the Tu-Vie Podcast, which is a TV movie entertainment needs podcast. We cover everything that's going on in Hollywood in our current season. Season 4 has an updated playlist right now with full seasons of 3 and 2 also there as well. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.